I'm pretty sure Mark's going to sign in. I talked to Adam today. I don't know if he's going to make it tonight, but I guess he's going to meet with you guys next Tuesday, right?
Yeah, next Tuesday for the camping committee. Yeah, he sent me an email, and I let him know that yeah, it was next week. Did you have a chance to talk to your Freedom? I can't remember his name. I saw it pass by that email when they were asking about the go-to meeting.
Yeah. Zach.
Zach.
Um, yeah, he said he wrote me back and said possibly that it would be during the robot season in school. So depending on how much time it is and where the event will be, I may be able to help.
So
I definitely am willing.
we're looking at a weekend course. So it'd be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then it would be we're looking most likely the first weekend of January. That's the date we're going to be announcing tonight.
First weekend in January.
Yeah, it's like the 5th through the 7th or something like that.
Okay. Let me see what's going on
I should just realized it's my grandmother's birthday. Whoops.
there. I think we have something scheduled that weekend too. I'm looking right now at our calendar. Oh, there it is right there. First weekend in January. January 6th, LA Orienteering at Vasquez Rocks.
Bummer. Well, we were looking at the second weekend as well, but we have two Freedom guys up here as well, Nick and Caleb, and we were going to be asking them to serve, just similar to Zach, and they're on break. They get off school break that weekend, and then they go back to they're going to college.
Right. Yeah, John's away at college already.
Yeah. Hi, Andrew. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going? Good evening.
Good evening.
I guess those that are logged in show up somewhere here on the.
Yeah, there should be an attendees. We have you, myself, and Tom Tremblay from the original 4673 Hermosa Beach. Did I get that right, Tom?
I like it, Josh. Yeah, I like it, Josh. Very good. Good job.
Oh, there it is.
I'm an equal opportunity offender, however, so if Huntington Beach happened to be up there, I would have said the same thing.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Pretty confusing, actually. We get a lot of requests, connect with the troop requests.
Right.
I get a lot of them that are like from Huntington Beach area, which are trying to get to the other troop, and then I don't know how many they get from us, but I get 4 or 5 usually this time of year from Huntington Beach.
How far away are you guys?
Huntington's about a half an hour down the freeway, so
Okay.
35, 40 miles probably.
Okay. Hi,
half an hour down the 405 with no traffic.
No traffic, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Jason. Welcome. All right. Well, I don't want to. Is there anybody on the phone that dial in via the phone number? Okay. Well, I want to respect your guys' time. I appreciate you guys showing up at the Greater Barn start time. So let's go ahead and open up in a word of prayer. Tom, could you lead us in a word of prayer, please?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Thanks.
Lord, we just come before you tonight. We are so thankful that you give us the opportunity to speak into these young men's lives, Lord. And I pray for each and every leader, Lord, that you would fill us with your wisdom, give us the words to say, and when those times come when we need to speak to those young men's hearts, Lord, that you would just fill us with your words, that we're able to speak your truth and love, and to just guide them towards you. We thank you for this opportunity. We ask that you would just bless this meeting tonight. Let us get everything accomplished that we need to do. And Lord, help us just to honor you in all that we do and all that we say. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, guys, let me advance the slide here. All right, everyone stand for the saying of the national anthem. No, I'm just kidding. I do have a quick quote I'd like to share with you guys. This is from our first president, George Washington. While we are zealously performing the duties of good citizens and soldiers, we certainly ought not to be inattentive to the higher duties of religion. To the distinguished character of patriot, it should be our highest glory to add the more distinguished character of Christian. Okay, guys, welcome to the September Roundtable, Southern California area. Real quick, for those of you guys who do not know our area team, let me quickly share it with you. Whoop, I went one too far. Our area point man is John Herring. I think John is going to be joining us later. John is our acting point man. He is currently serving as the regional team lead in up in the Washington area, and then he serves as point man in a number of different areas because we're missing that position. So we have our area advancement chairman. Looks like Mike is on the line. Mike, say hi.
Hi. Yep.
Mike's sorry, that was funny. Mike's primary job as advancement chairman is to coordinate the Freedom Board of Reviews and the Freedom Projects, and basically to help shepherd these young men that have gotten to this far through the process, which can be, I wouldn't say cumbersome, but it's involved. Would that be fair to say, Mike?
Yeah, it's more involved than you might think when it comes down to it for the individual boy and the leadership of their church. So it's worthwhile that people get started early on this thing because a number of surprises can come up, as we've found out. If I can take one quick minute while you got me online here, I am only currently involved with one young man in the SoCal area. No, you can't talk, Mark.
I was having some network difficulties earlier, but I'm not sure if that's what caused it or not. Let me see here. All right, can everyone see my screen? Have I shared it yet?
No.
I see Michael.
There we go. Now we see it.
Here, I'll save it as a clean one so that no one can see all the icons on my screen when I'm accidentally minimize it. So, all right, very good. All right, so go ahead, Mike. We'll try not to interrupt you again. You now have 30 seconds left in your presentation.
Okay. So listen, what I wanted to say is that I am only involved with one young man, and that happens to be my troop right now, who's doing his Freedom Award preps, either his project or getting ready to schedule a board of review. If there is somebody else in the SoCal area that I should be dealing with right now, I really need to have the name and a contact. So for the few people that are online here, if you think you've got an adventurer that's working on that right now, John Herring hasn't told me about anybody else, and so just let me know. And that's what I got.
Okay, let's hope that I can advance the slide after this without causing the entire thing to blow up here. Area chaplain, we do still have this position open. If there's anybody who's available to serve as the area chaplain, obviously we'd be looking for that, as well as the membership chair. Teresa Waning, Teresa, say hi. Looks like you're on the call. Nope, not here, Teresa. Well, Teresa is our area charter organization coach. Primary role is helping charters recharter and go through that entire process. Oh, there you are, Teresa. Say hi.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, it took me a minute to find my window.
Okay, and it looks like John is on the line. John, hi, how's it going?
Just racing here after church council. My apologies for being a few minutes late, but it's a busy night.
Well, that's okay.
So, hi, guys.
Since the entire go-to meeting absolutely detonated and we had to restart the entire thing. So we're walking around on eggshells right now, hoping that it doesn't blow up again.
Yeah, no worries. And you're recording it, so that's good.
Well, we're recording it, but I have the last or the first 5 or 10 minutes, so I'll have to try to stitch them together, try to figure something out. So, all right, moving on. These are our training and support staff. For those of you guys who are, is there one more? Nope, sorry. We have some direct support advisors or service advisors that are in your area. For those that say open, Los Angeles, which would be Glendale, Burbank, and North, and that kind of area into like downtown LA, and then the Inland Empire, which is out in Riverside and San Bernardino and all that. Though we are looking for some individuals who can serve as a resource for the troops. Those are for the ones that are listed there. Mike Hickenbotham and I are the DSAs for the Channel Islands District, which is Ventura County, Santa Barbara County, that area. Jim Martin handles the Orange County beaches kind of pocket there. So if you have any questions, he's your first contact, past your troop master or your charter rep. And then of course Jerry, who we got on the line, who's going to be teaching our committee specific training, is down there in the South Coast, San Diego area, Oceanside, and then going out towards the middle of nowhere. Is there anything actually out there in that area, Jerry?
You're talking about Imperial County?
Oh, Imperial County. That's right. That's what it's called. Yeah. I wasn't sure that was actually still part of the state. I didn't know what was out there.
Yeah, that's right out there. No, I have one troop up in Greg Hosberg's unit up in Temecula, and then everything south.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Well, at some point we'll get something out there in the desert, but.
Yeah, but that's a long drive.
Is there even cities out there? I'm not even sure.
Yeah, there's Yuma.
Oh, Yuma. That's right. I've heard the name Yuma. I think.
Yeah, now, be nice, guys. Come on.
All right. So help needed. So we mentioned that John is our point man, but he's only our acting point man. We are still looking for somebody to fill that position. Really needs to be someone local. John has been doing a great job as point man, but his actual position is regional team lead. So we really need to find somebody who can step into that role. So be praying about it and be thinking about it. It needs to happen. We need to get somebody in here. I think John's been doing it now for what, John, about a year and a half.
Yeah. However, I'm very pleased to say that I shed one of my areas. Oregon Trail has been taken over by Bryce Davis, and so I'm now down to trying to cover 3 areas instead of 4.
There you go. We are, as I mentioned, looking for some additional DSAs. So if you have some scouting experience or some experience even in trail life, and you just want to kind of give back, it's contacting the troops. It's making yourself available to the troops to let them know, hey, if you have questions, if you need assistance, contact me and let me know. It's not a great deal of time that's put into it. It's really it's really being available. So we're really looking for some people to serve, especially in those 2 districts that don't have anybody. And then we're looking. Yeah.
I wanted to ask Joshua, do you have anyone that's earned the Freedom Award already?
We have a few in the. I don't have anybody in my troop, but we have a few in the area. Yeah.
Well, because from my experience in scouting, some of the best commissioners or DSA or district staff usually come from Eagle Scouts. So you might want to go back and look at the list of those who received the Freedom Award, and then right out ask the adults who supported their son to get the Freedom Award and see if they would take that position. They've been through the program. They've had a success story. They've got a son with the Freedom Award. And it's logical to say, would you like to share your skill sets and wonderful things you did with your boy with other troops?
Yep, that's a good word. The easiest way to get that word out is through the attendees at this meeting, to get the word out to the individual troops. So if you have a name and you'd like to nominate someone, contact John. And let them know that we should be considering this person. And then it's a little disappointing that we don't have an area chaplain. I know John wants to shed the point man, but I really think that the area chaplain is as important, if not as important as the point man. We really need to have somebody that's available for area events and to be serving as somebody who can reach out to the charter org reps of the 20 plus troops that we have and just be asking them, what can I be praying for you about? What can I be doing for you? And just serving as a an extra friend to the troop. So be in prayer about these positions. The area definitely needs them. So. Okay, John, I think this one's you. Why don't you go ahead and take that one over?
Okay, so one of the things I've been working on for the last month or so is trying to get a good handle of where we're at on equip. Hopefully everybody knows what equip is, but if you don't, equip is our hands-on training for new leaders. Sometimes it's our version, people will call it our version of Wood Badge. It's really not quite. It's really much more designed to be your basic training. It's an in-person training where people that basically have the been there, done that t-shirt come out and help you understand the Trail Life program, teach you some outdoor skills, but more importantly, what they do is they basically help you understand how to operate a troop, how to teach the boys to teach the boys. That's my way of saying, basically to enable the young youth leaders. So one of our limitations right now is we have relatively few equipped trainers here on the West Coast. We have a number of people who went back to Camp Aiken, including Mike Wyatt and myself and other folks. We now have been empowered to bring along some additional equip directors, which means people that can actually run equip events. And so I'm looking for people that want to actually fill that role, so I can put them through the equip first generation training. There's a few requirements. They have to be an active Trail Life leader, obviously. They must be an equip graduate. You have to have gone through equip before. And then you got to be willing and say, look, if I do this, I'm willing to staff and equip as an instructor. And then if I'm successful at that, then I'm going to basically be stepping up to be a director. And we would ask you to commit yourself to lead at least one equip per year. We're hoping to get 4 or 5 equips per year in the SoCal area. And as a matter of fact, same thing in each one of the areas too. So really looking to get that level of commitment. Interested? Contact me and we'll talk you through it. I've already got some people interested, and so we'll get you going on that. Questions about equip training?
Okay.
Okay.
Moving on to everyone. No, I'm not singing the song. All right. Some training coming up. For those of you guys who are new, I think we got some new faces on this roundtable. There is fast start training available. You follow the links here, but again, check with your DSA. There are the levels of support to contact outside your troop. Find this information. There's an online library in Troop Track with a whole bunch of information under national resources. But then this Trail Life University is a series of short videos. They're really helpful videos. They're really good. Now they are hard to get to. Because Trail Life was developing it, and then Troop Track, there was a big snafu with Troop Track, and it kind of diverted some of the resources. So it's still kind of in a development state, but the videos are all there. You can access them, and you can plug your leaders into them. It's great fast start resources. Basic training. There is some basic training. It's called base camp training that is available. It's provided most likely by your DSA or other area volunteers. It's about 1 to 4 hours in person. Most likely, though, it'll be via a go-to meeting like one of these because the area is so spread out geographically. So if you're interested in this, again, request it via your DSA. And then we already mentioned equip, but equip is for those of you guys with a scouting background. John, I probably would compare it to maybe Scoutmaster Essentials or Scoutmaster Outdoor Leader Training, something like that. I served as I think a trail guide during the last equip. We had a lot of people go through there. I know Tom, you were there. We had a few other people I think on the call that were there, and I mean it was fabulous training. So once you hear the equip training is coming up, I definitely encourage you to jump on it. And then, of course, supplemental training roundtable. This meeting here is available second Tuesday of every month at 8:30. We rotate the training schedule at the end of the meeting to accommodate all leaders. I forgot to update this one. There's always one slide I forget to update as I copy it from month to month. So next month's breakout is not specific to the committee members. Next month we'll focus on Navigator Adventurers. So that information is incorrect. So this month is committee members, and next month is going to be Navigator Adventurers. So okay, upcoming events: Southern California Warrior Games. Teresa, you got any information on Warrior Games you can share for us?
Pretty much it's the same. It's gonna run the same as it has in the past 3 years. Every troop will make their own campsite reservations at Camp San Mateo. And we will have the Warrior Games at Camp Pendleton Paintball Park from 1 to 5 on Saturday afternoon. The only new thing that I might, so this is not firm or confirmed, but we might have an opportunity to do a flag retirement on Camp Pendleton's Red Beach Saturday morning. But that's still in the works. So
awesome.
That's just an FYI. But yeah, it's pretty much the same as next year. It's the weekend, was that President's Day weekend, the 16, 17, 18, 19, kind of like that Friday through Monday.
It's like the 10th. Oh, I'm looking at 2017. 16, 17, and 18.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, if troops want to camp over through Sunday into Monday, that's a day that a lot of people have off. So that's an option. We'll probably just plan activities for the Saturday morning. Then Saturday afternoon is Warrior Games, and then a Sunday morning worship, and then each troop is on their own before and after that.
This is available for Woodland Trail as well as Navigator and Adventure. Is that correct?
Yes, it's ages 5 and up.
Okay, so they have an age appropriate for the Woodland Trail for the paintball.
Yeah, they have something called Splat Master, which uses it almost looks like a Nerf gun, but it does shoot paintballs. Very, very low impact, and that would be for like the 8 and unders, and then for your like 9 to 12-year-olds, they have, and even adults who are new to paintball or just don't want to get hurt, they have the low impact paintball, or they call it paintball light, and then regular paintball,
okay,
which I think is open to 12 and up.
Okay, very good. So if anybody has any further questions about Warrior Games, definitely contact Teresa down there at the email below. All right.
I just wanted to add to that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add to that, Josh, real quick. You can go online now and get your campsites because we've already got ours.
Oh, wow.
Campsites are available. And we're in the same location we were last year, right across from where Teresa was last year.
Yeah, the loop it's Camp San Mateo. You do it through Reserve America. It's loop 66 through 100. I'm just kind of busy trying to get my troop up and running for the new year, but I'm catching up. And so within the next week or two, I should be able to put out a communication to the area. What's always helpful is after you've made your reservations to let me know, because then I keep a track of who's on what site. And then as if you get closer, if people need extra space or have extra space to give, I know who's on what site.
Okay.
Or if we have sites that aren't being occupied by any of our troops, but they're showing reserve, then I can give all the troops a warning. Heads up, we've got strangers on site, XYZ. Just keep your eyes open.
Okay. Any questions on Warrior Games? All right, moving on. Patrol Rally, Channel Islands District Patrol Rally. We do have a theme for it's going to be Survivor, as in the TV show Survivor. The dates are April 27th to the 29th. We haven't figured. It's going to be at Forest Home in Ojai. That's actually Oakview. I guess I need to change that slide. But it's pretty close to Ojai. It's at the Forest Home Christian Camp Center. The cost is still to be determined. Mike Hickenbotham and I have a meeting tomorrow to discuss that. But it's going to be probably pretty close to last year's rate, which was $25 a person, which was the weekend rate. Or if people were just coming on Saturday for the that was a day only rate of 18. It'll only stay there or go down. I think we're doing pretty well, but we'll be sending out some more information on that here pretty soon. This event will be only open to rising mountain lion, navigator, adventurer, youth trailmen, and adult leaders. I think last year we had something like 35 trailmen, 40 trailmen, something in that nature, and we've actually already got pre-registered over 100 trailmen. So this is actually grown really, really fast. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be pretty awesome. It's going to have everything, feats of skill and courage. You see that there in my bold statement there. But we're going to have lashings, chariots, knot tying, compass, and navigation. And we're also looking at a possibility of having the swimming pool open as well. So it's going to be a pretty wild event. And it's actually going to be run this year. Last year was run by adults, but this year we have a youth trailman from Troop 611 in Riverside, and who will be serving as patrol rally first officer. And then we will be having a second officer from the Channel Islands district as well. So this is going to be youth run and youth design, so it's going to be a blast. So if you're interested and still want to go and want to let me know, possibility on how many trailmen, we still got to figure out, make sure we have enough location for everybody, because it is on a private area, so we got to make sure that there's enough flat space. So any questions on patrol rally?
I have one, Josh.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Teresa. Go ahead.
I was just saying, how does one let you know we're interested?
Yeah, well, that would help if I updated the slide. Hold on, you can email me at my email address, which is joshuamichaelsanders@gmail.com. Does everyone need me to put that on the screen, or?
So we don't have to tell you how many people yet, just that our troop is interested.
Well, I think Teresa, you already pre-registered. I'm pretty sure. I think I got something like 20 trailmen that you thought were possibly going to be coming. So
yeah, I ballparked it. So
yeah.
that's all we need right now.
That's all we need right now is just a ballpark. Best guess, best faith estimate. So
got it.
Tom, what was your question?
Josh, did you receive anything from me? I think I RSVP'd.
I think you RSVP, but I'll double check and I'll let you know.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. All right. All right. So we do have an announcement for Youth Equip. We did talk.
Announcements.
I said it. I said it legitimately.
Yeah.
A terrible death to die. A terrible death to die. A terrible death to be talked to death. A terrible death to die.
I cannot believe that actually happened.
Come on, Teresa, finish it.
The horrible thing to be talked to death. What a horrible way to die.
All right.
Announcements.
All right, I deserved it. All right. So we did talk about Equip earlier. We are announcing a course for Youth Equip this January. Right now, the operating date is January 5th through January 7th. However, there is a possibility that we might be pushing it back to 1 weekend back, which is I think the 11th or something like that. So we're still working on making sure that we can get enough personnel to staff this. This course, as you can see there on the slide, is designed to train navigator and adventurer leaders, so patrol leaders, first officers, etc., or really any navigator or adventurer that's interested in pursuing leadership. So it's a weekend course. We will put them into patrols, and then we teach them, we'll go over things like conflict resolution, servant leadership, proper communication, and how communication works. So really looking forward to this. We are still looking for some staff for this. We're hoping to get, we need a staff grub master right now, somebody that would be available to serve as the staff grub master and help us out on the food, help cook it all, buy it all, and we'll obviously get reimbursed. But we're also looking for either some recently graduated adventurer youth, recently aged out adventure youth, or some that are like in their last year who have already served, who can be available to serve as patrol guides to help all of these trailmen who are going to be coming. They would serve as the patrol guide. They'd give them the necessary resources, and then we will actually be putting them in charge of teaching the actual individual courses. So we feel that the boys that come to this as participants will get quite a bit more out of it if they're being talked to by their own peers versus the grumpy old men up at the top. So if your troop is interested in this and would like to help me organize it, you can see my email there at the bottom. Would love to have some help. I'd love to answer any questions you might have. We're going to keep the cost pretty low. Pretty much, we're looking for sites that we can get on a song. So really, what all they're going to be doing is pretty much paying for food and a small amount of supplies. So I think this is going to be a fabulous event. So if you're interested, please email me below. Any questions that I can answer off the top of my head? Okay.
I have a shameless plug to put in for it.
Okay, go ahead.
Get your first and second officers and your patrol leaders, but particularly the guys you think they're going to rise up into troop leadership. Get them to go to this. This helps them hugely. Now, it's one of these things where they may not even realize what's going on, because what it is really a series of 7 games. They play 7 games throughout this period. They get a lot of chance to talk to each other, but they're playing games, but they're games with a purpose, and they're teaching them basic leadership skills, such as how do you plan your troop schedule. What we're doing is we're teaching them through Equip Youth that they're capable of doing a lot of the things that they may not even realize they're capable of doing. So get your guys to go to this. This will help your troop be so much more successful.
Yep. Okay, I don't want to. Gotta move through some of these tidbits of information because I know Jerry's got a great training here. So let's, John, real quick, tell us about Regional Roundup 2018.
Yeah, that's something that Danny Brooks and the Alaska guys are putting together. They're still cooking on it right now. It's looking like the very last week of June of 2018. This says July 2018, but it's the very last week of June, which basically runs through July 2nd. Location near Anchorage. They're working on a plan where they can hold this event, and what you'll really have to do is bring your basic camping gear, where they will basically have a mechanism by which you can buy food, that you'll be able to get stoves and tents and things like that through the outdoor rec center there at Joint Base Elmendorf. So still waiting some details, but stand by. This could be a really great thing for your adventurers particularly to go to. If you think about a super adventure in 2018, this would be a great super adventure.
Awesome. Okay, and then the National Co-Venture. I like how you changed the name of that.
Yeah, well, they just announced the new name yesterday. This is going to be the National Summer Adventure in 2019. This is going to be basically our event, a version of a jamboree. It's a national gathering of trailmen from across the country. Location right now, Western North Carolina, Asheville area. There is a camp there that they've kind of been kicking the tires on that has the space for being able to tent camp everybody that's going to be out tent camping, and also has facilities to be able to handle the national convention at the same time. So lots of things still brewing on this. This also could be something to be really thinking about, especially for your adventurers, as being a capstone thing for their trail life career. Travel is going to be expensive to get back there, but this could be one of those things where we don't really want them to miss this. So start marking down the date and save the date for July 2019.
Yep. All right, so I took some of those slides out of order, but this is a Point Man update. So go ahead and John, tell us about the TRLC.
Yeah, they changed the name on it also last night. I found out about the Trail Ready Learner Conferences 2018. Similar to the one we had down in Riverside. We're going to try to get them and do more of them spread out across the country. Really looking for these to be a little different, and really looking for these to be where it's leaders teaching leaders. You guys that are successful troop masters, teaching what works, teaching what doesn't work. Same with the CORs, same with area team members. So we have a couple of them that are already scheduled, including one April up in Seattle. We're working on a few others. We really want one down in SoCal, Orange County or Riverside County or whatever. The biggest thing we need here is somebody ready to step up and basically lead the charge on it. We need one of you troop leaders or one of the area team leaders to be willing to be the chairman of this and organize it. So if you can, and you're willing to step up and do this, we would love to have you volunteer to actually take this session on.
All right. And then the state of trail life in Southern California.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to dwell on this, but 3 new troops in the last month. That's huge.
Yeah.
Wrightwood, Twin Peaks. I guess Wrightwood maybe that was actually last month, but we're going to take credit for it for this month. Twin Peaks and a new one in Fallbrook, Christ the King Lutheran Church just launched, just got their charter here. So, but we also have a couple that are coming along very shortly and very rapidly right behind them. If you want to go to the next slide.
Next slide's actually the map. So everyone look at the pretty map.
Oh. Yeah, pretty map. Pretty map. We're starting to fill in the blank spots, guys. That's cool. These are the churches that basically are working on pre-charters right now. So we've got a lot of them, and that's just really good to hear. So if you want to go back to the map,
sure.
We still have areas we need troops. If you know of a church or you know somebody that has a church, let's say it's out in Palm Springs. We don't have a troop in Palm Springs, that would be a great place to have a troop. We just finally got somebody interested in Bakersfield, so I think we're going to start getting there, going there. Barstow, there's lots of churches out there that could sponsor a trail life troop, but more important, there's lots of young men out there that need trail life. So, you guys can help us find those targets and find those likely new charters. Help us identify them. You don't have to do the work. Tell us where they're at. We'll go out and do the work.
Hey, just briefly, guys. This is Andrew from Troop 1314.
Andrew.
I noticed the name of the church is different than I think I tried to contact National. We're actually Twin Peaks Community Church.
Oh,
it's a
okay.
Calvary Chapel. That was our original charter about a year and a half ago. So I emailed. I forgot the gentleman.
Doug Barker.
I think so. Yeah, and then I didn't hear anything back from him. So I don't know if there's an email I can get. Is it maybe one of you folks or?
Yeah, you can send it to me, traillifenw@gmail.com.
You said NW?
Yeah, traillifenw is at Northwest.
Okay.
At gmail.com, and I'll work with you on it. Okay. Thanks, Andrew.
Okay. It's all right. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, I'm done talking.
All right. Leader-specific training. So for those of you guys who are committee members, this is going to be your training. For those of you who are not, either some Navigator Venture Program direct support, direct leaders, or woodland leaders, you're welcome to stay. But I'm going to go ahead and make Jerry our presenter. So Jerry, presenter, yes. All right, Jerry, you're on.
Thank you. I was scratching my head putting this presentation together, and I found myself, I'm going to be repeating myself throughout it. So how many are with us still? We have, do we have any committee members right now? Are we all at the troop level, or do we have committee members here?
Yeah, I'm one.
What position? What's your troop and position number?
2514, and I'm the committee chair.
You're the committee chair. Good. And how does your troop look compared to this chart? You have all these positions pretty well handled at the committee level?
We're doing a lot of dual hat work right now, as we're still in the fledgling stage, you might say. We're 2514 out of Wrightwood.
How about troop leader? How about troop leaders here? Is your committee all full, or where are you guys at? Anybody here got a full committee?
Crickets.
Does anybody have all these trail guide positions filled? How about
No, sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. This is Javier from Trail Life Troop 212.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a full committee, and unfortunately some people stepped down, so we're doing dual hats right now. We're missing our committee chair, and our chaplain's also our treasurer, but we do have a troop master, and yeah, so we're looking for a committee chair right now.
All right, and then what about these here, the ranger, the trail master, and advisor position?
Yeah, our ranger also had to step down, unfortunately.
Okay.
Our troop master is kind of doing dual hats for the ranger as well.
How about at this level, patrol leader level?
But we do have a trail master, and we do have an advisor. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Anyone else got any of these positions filled and feel pretty adequate?
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. It took us, 2.5, 3 years to get there, but we're doing pretty good. I wouldn't say we have every troop committee position filled, but pretty much all the rest of them we do.
Okay. Well, the reason I bring this up is I've been involved with Boy Scouts or scouting, for the last 35 years, and I've done the district commissioner activity, and this is an ongoing problem. We have all these positions here to be filled, and it's always the core group of people that do the same jobs, wear 2 hats, 3 hats, sometimes 4 or 5 hats, and a lot of these positions are filled in name only. And I did want to get into the nitty gritty of each one of these committee members, but if you don't have the people, it's kind of hard to go on and have training in the specific areas of these particular roles. So I was scratching my head a bit, and I was gonna end with some kind of an inspirational message. So I thought I'd start here with the inspirational message, because what is the reason of having a full committee and a full troop masters organization unless there's a core foundation? And I had a wonderful meeting up in Temecula, and I visited with Greg Hosberg's unit and 7 wonderful Christian gentlemen, and they had the same situation. They could use some more adult support. But I think the bottom line is I'd like to ask the group here, why do we participate? I mean, can anyone tell me what masculine love is? Have you ever heard of that concept? What is masculine love?
I'm thinking that refers to the tough and tender, that there's a time when you have to address issues and be that tough model, but then you know when to turn on the tender switch, just like Jesus did when he interacted with all sorts of people.
Okay. Anyone else?
Sounds good, John.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna pick on Saint Joseph, and the reason I picked on Saint Joseph is because God chose him to be the role model for Jesus. And then I got this idea of starting out here rather than at the end of my presentation, because it really behooves all of us to fill all those committee positions and adult positions, especially with strong male leadership or Christian gentleman leadership who have a strong compunction for masculine love. And and the reason we do that is I just finished reading a book by Ben Sass, and he says, where is the was a story about the vanishing mature adult. The vanishing adult you get on Amazon.com. And he said youth today are not having good role models to follow, so what they do is they go to their peer group. And it would be good to have many, many adult men involved in the various positions of the committee and to be role models to our youth. And I'm going to share just a few ideas of how to put that together. And I'm going to move on to the next part, is what is masculine love based on St. Joseph? And these are my thoughts on that subject. There are, highlight my PowerPoint here. This is the Polish PowerPoint presentation. There are, and I'm Polish, I can get away with this. There's
I thought that was crayon on a piece of paper, Jerry.
Yeah, well, there you go. So it's one facet is actually the masculine love is fatherhood, and it has two facets: providing and protecting. We know that St. Joseph had a career, he had a vocation, he provided for his family, and when the going got tough, he upended his business and left town when Herod's men were coming after his family, and he protected them. Now, I'm not saying that the mothers don't protect, but the mothers protect the children, whereas the fathers protect the entire family unit. The father would probably sacrifice his life for his wife, but the wife would sacrifice her life for the sons and daughters. Next slide. Here we go.
I almost clicked the screen.
Yeah. So as a provider, he provides material and spiritual, moral leadership in the home. He is the moral leader. I know that the mothers sometimes do the training, but he is responsible to be the moral leader. And he demonstrates a strong work ethic and role model and vocational trainer, which St. Joseph did. And he took Jesus to the temple, and he taught Jesus. It says in Scripture that, isn't this the carpenter's son? And so they knew Joseph. We don't hear many words about Joseph. He doesn't say a whole lot in the Gospels. I can't even find much that he would say, except what he said in a dream. The second role of a masculine love is a protector. So we learn from that Joseph is humble. He was obedient and selfless. And because Joseph never said a whole lot, he was a man of action. Duty over rights. And he was monogamous. So that he could not be a predator, but a savior or a defender of his family. And he had personal self-mastery. And that's the definition of masculine love. And the core reason for recruiting men to be on the leadership roles of the troop is to have young men interact with as many adult virtuous men that can be found. That should be the core reason for us to recruit as many adults to be on the committee, to be troop advisors, to be patrol advisors, and I'm going to share with you how we're going to do that. I've talked about it in the past, and we're looking at two sections. We're looking at the committee, and we're looking at the troop level. Now, in scouting, I remember that we would have the Troop Leaders Council, and only this group would meet here. The scoutmaster or troop master would be the only one attending the committee meeting. Oh, any of the adults could attend the committee meeting, but they would be on the side doing Q&A. So the troop master, in this case, would be working with his troop leadership, coming up with the ideas and equipment and program and plans that they're going to do, and he presents it to the troop committee to support the troop master and the rest of the program. So we highly do not recommend that the people at the committee level also serve down here. They should be separate. You should be going towards that goal and take an active role to fill all these spots. Now, who is responsible for filling the committee? Who technically is responsible for filling these committee positions?
Charter org rep.
The charter organ.
Yep.
Yeah, charter organization.
Right, the institutional head and the core, as well as the committee chairman. So the organization would supply some of these key positions. If I'm not mistaken, I think the core has to approve, or the institutional has to approve these committee members here. But if I were to ask the question, do you think your institutional head and core have already authorized these committee people to be in charge? And you don't have to answer. These are rhetorical questions. I'm going to ask this question, though. How many units do we have? We have 13 different units or 13 people visiting?
13 people.
Okay, we got 13. And how many units are here represented? 8 or 9?
5, 6. I'm saying 7 or 8, maybe.
Okay. Let me ask this question. As leadership of the unit that you're at, do you know the church's mission and vision statement that is your sponsor? Do you have it written down somewhere?
Yes, we do. I do.
Okay, that's one.
Yes,
Anybody
we have
else?
it in ours.
Yep.
We have it in ours.
Okay. And let me ask the
4673 does.
Okay, so you know the mission and the vision statement for the church that's sponsoring you. All right, the next question is, do you incorporate your troop calendar with the church's calendar?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
We tried, but our church has an annoying habit. Sorry if my COR sees this on the recording later, of only really planning out about three or 4 months in advance.
Okay, but at least you're working in that. So now we've established the fact that you're an extension of the youth ministry of the church, and you're part of their calendar, and you're doing activities and doing service projects and things with the chartered partner. So we've got that pretty well understood. Now, let's get into getting these spots filled. How do we do that?
Talent survey.
Oh, wow! I'm so glad we remember that from the last training.
Sorry, that was a softball question, and you just kind of laid it up for me.
I know. I really appreciate that. You know, I was at Greg Hosberg's unit, and I explained this talent survey to the group. And there were 7 men there, and they filled it out. And I told them as I was going around the room, I said, you know, the Bible or Jesus says that you're to love your God with your whole heart, your whole mind, and your whole soul, and to love your neighbor as yourself. Well, I think at churches we spend a lot of time loving God, but do we really know our neighbor? And you can't recruit unless you know who you're recruiting. So you have this survey completed. But the question I have is that we require dues, we require youth protection, we require permission slips, we require health forms. Why don't we require this talent survey?
We do.
Anyone else?
Yeah, we have included that in our onboarding packet. So everybody who gets an onboarding packet gets a talent survey and is required to fill it out.
Okay, so you have copies of it?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's where your committee is going to come from and also your lower levels. But I've got another wonderful idea to share with you. Let's go with the next one. On the back of the talent survey should be this. What are these?
Trail badges.
All the ones I could find. So you ask them to circle the trail badge. Now, once the trail badges are filled out, there's possibility here that some of these folks could be on the committee level and some could be teachers and advising.
I've had a problem trying to get trail badge mentors with this list from our church because they're the people I asked. This is people who would be outside the troop that I'm just going through the individual church membership. They're really concerned that the time commitment is a lot. Then everybody's busy and everybody's concerned about what they're going to volunteer for.
Right.
So we've gotten a lot of pushback when we've tried to recruit outside the troop, with this list to get the needs filled that we have.
Well, the way I overcome that is, first of all, they may not be a trail badge advisor and go through the nitty gritty and do that with your youth. But you know what? It's a good way to set up a situation or say, could you be our guest speaker? When I was at, I was at Teresa's unit the other day, and I was talking to one of the dads, and he said, they had a guest speaker come in. He was a geologist, and he brought his rock collection, and the kids were so excited seeing this rock collection, meteors, and all kinds of fun things like that. And, a guy could spend 10, 15 minutes being a guest speaker. And then later on, you cultivate a situation where you go back and say, Joe, you did such a great job at presenting your geology experience. There's a couple of youth said that they would like more information about that. Do you think you could advise them on that? And here's some requirements, and then ask them that way. But I would start out with the idea, when you're outside the church, could you be our guest speaker or our guest person to come in? We've had the American Legion in show us how to fold flags. We've had geologists come visit us. We've had scientists come. Maybe the fire ranger comes. Maybe a doctor or a medic comes in and visits. But also the adults that are signing up their youth. We were going around the room at Greg's committee meeting, and one guy said, well, yeah, I do plumbing. Another guy does electrician. One guy said he was a building inspector. And then one guy said, you know, I don't have any of those skills. I just do sales and marketing. And I said, well, I looked at Greg. I said, well, there's your membership chair. So you need somebody to sell the program, you know, and those kinds of things. So, but I would require at registration that these items get circled here. Let's move on back to the organizational chart. Okay, so the talent survey gives us some information, possible people that you can work with the charter org rep and the institutional head to fill these spots. Where are these spots going to be filled in? How is this going to happen?
We pull ours from the parents of the children in the program. That's where we start with.
Perfect. You have, you know, I'm going to recommend. Do you guys have patrol elections?
Our navigators and adventurers do it in $11.99.
All right. How about at the ranger and trailmaster level?
Elections? No, we don't.
Well, in Cub Scouts, we had dinners and assistant dinners. We had a scribe, and then it looks like in Trail Life, you have a spiritual growth person. I would recommend that you have elections even at the lower levels, because we did in Cub Scouts. When the only group we didn't do it with was Tiger Cubs. So you can have a wolf patrol, a dinner, an assistant dinner, or in this particular case, a patrol, fox patrol leader. You know, it can even be name only, but whoever gets elected, that parent or that adult member is the advisor to make sure that their son is successful. And if you wanted to, you could go 4 deep leadership. And the way you would do that is you would have patrol leader, assistant patrol leader, a spiritual growth leader, and a scribe. 4 deep leadership. And then automatically, it's just very natural. You cultivate and say, okay, your son has been elected. And you guys could even switch if the dad didn't want to do his son. You could say, well, the assistant leader could be the advisor to that boy's son, you know, and go that way. Then what happens is, as they term out of their position, of the 4, one of them could end up being the ranger in the future, because they've already had the experience of guiding their son as patrol leader or assistant patrol leader, scribe, or spiritual growth person. And then, of course, of the 4, you've got an assistant, maybe assistant ranger, an assistant to the assistant ranger, based on the elections. Same way with this level here too, Trailmaster. So among the 4 deep leadership, it's just natural. Your son was elected, and we know you want your son to be successful, to be a leader, and we would like you to be a role model. I'd even switch the adults out and say, okay, this my son is a patrol leader, but I'll tell you what, I'll counsel your assistant patrol leader, and you can counsel my patrol leader's son, or you can counsel my scribe, and we'll switch, you know, if you want to switch roles so it's not, you know, incestuous kind of thing, but they're all working together.
Yeah, this is Mike Hickenbotham. I'm not seeing the screen.
You don't see the screen?
I can see it.
Oh, okay. Now I'll figure it out at this end. Thank you.
I just have the organizational chart up.
That's okay. I'll follow.
Now, what happens is, through succession planning, after the next elections in the troop, the ranger, the trailmaster, and advisor now moves into this position here so that these folks can move up in succession planning. And I'm going to tell you the reason why people don't volunteer. You guys, wait a minute, before I do it, why do people not volunteer?
They don't think they're adequate to the job sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? You guys are so good at what you do, you're scaring us. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons I don't volunteer beyond my DSA level is because you guys are really darn good at what you do, and I could never be as good as you guys. So you scared the dickens out of me. But, however, if I get an opportunity to learn some things at these lower levels and have some success, then move to the next position and have some success, I'm growing to the next. Well, if I can do that, I guess I could do this up here. And what's another reason why people don't volunteer?
They're lazy.
Nah, we're not lazy.
There I said it.
No, they're not lazy. They're at the troop meeting. That's why they're involved.
Okay.
Okay.
Because they want to see an end time. They think it's it's going to be a commitment forever. So if you have troop elections and patrol elections, hey, it's only for the term, and then the next level, and then the next level, and the next term. So you move up that ladder. By the way, who attends the? Oh, I already did that already. I'm talking to myself now. Okay, we covered that talent survey.
Oh my God, they're kidding. No, but I knew. So
I'd like to. Are there any questions up to this point? Any pushback from these suggestions?
Yeah, is there any way to get copies of some of your suggestions about questionnaires and stuff?
Yeah, I have the attachments. I have you just through Joshua. I mean, you can send me an email, or you've got my email address. I'll send you these items to you. But the bottom line is to take the talent survey and have the trail badge area filled. And a lot of times too, when you're doing your troop program, you need to take in consideration that you want to include as many adults to be in your program. So when you're doing your calendar of events and program, make sure you have in mind your talent survey on both sides, the front and the back. How can you plug in the people who circled that they're good at firemanship, or they're good at plumbing or electricity or astronomy? How can they be part of your program so that they have a successful experience? And they can start out as guest speakers.
We've had a limited success, as I mentioned before, of recruiting trail badge mentors, but of the ones that we did recruit, it was for a one-off experience. A boy wanted to earn maybe running sports outside of the confines of the troop meeting, and then it never really, they never got finished, and no other boy ever wanted it. So this guy's just sitting there. How would you suggest I re-engage with that guy?
Well, did he already fill out the talent survey?
Yeah, and the only one that he was willing to do was running sports.
Running in sports?
Running sports.
Well,
running sports.
Well, you're going to have activities at the troop, like you have a breakout session, right? You're doing your guide, you're doing your trail badges, and you're doing your advancement, and then you have a breakout session where you have a recreational time. Is that right?
Yeah, that's true. But this is more like running sports is like track and field and that kind of thing.
Right. What other talents did he have? What did the talent survey tell you?
I don't know. I'd have to look. It's been a while since we recruited this gentleman.
Yeah, because the thing is that we have more than one talent. I mean, I play the accordion, the piano. I have a stamp collection. I have a mineralogy collection. I have an astronomy collection. I play the guitar. I do public speaking, although I'm not doing a good job of it tonight.
No, you're doing good.
Yeah, but the point is that we have multiple talents. So if that one particular area doesn't work out, you can tap him in for another thing, or he could come in and be a guest speaker with a slideshow and talk about running sports to the whole troop and make him part of the program.
Okay.
Now I want to go to the next part here. Let's see.
Just briefly.
Yeah.
I have a couple of men that are interested potentially, or I have an interest in them potentially becoming the junior high and high school positions at like the trail advisor. Now, I spoke to them and I gave them some information that we hand out. Do you guys have any other recommendations to, I don't know, maybe break down some of those barriers that you were talking about with maybe they don't feel they're adequate, or do you guys have them just come to a meeting, or maybe like do you guys do a special, I don't know, dinner with them, or any ideas for that?
Go ahead. You can go first. Anyone else? I'm going to recommend with the baseball and football people that you have to have a farm team. I've never really had much success bringing outside people in. Usually you cultivate them from within, and you do it through the trail badges, or we used to call them merit badges. You do it through dads that have been successful with their son being an Eagle Scout, or in this particular case, the Freedom Award. And you bring these good people back in again. But you got to have some information. You need to know through your talent survey and your trail badge what their talents are. Also, you need to ask the question, what are your hobbies? And I've never really had much success bringing somebody on the outside who hasn't been involved with the troop program, unless you guys have. Have you, Josh?
I mean, I've had some success with a few people that just were, it was part of their personality was to jump in and to embrace new challenges. But no, for the most part, you got to bring them up slowly through the smaller positions.
But, you know, another reason why people do not volunteer is that, I hate to say this, and you'll probably kick me off this committee, is that I've noticed that troop leadership doesn't know how to delegate, and they're afraid to delegate because it might fail. And you got to let it fail, because we do it with the boys. We let them take on leadership skills, and we allow them to fail. We also got to let the adults fail and be responsible and make a commitment to whatever they're going to do. So if they're going to do the trail badge, they've got to do it. But I visit some units, and I see one person doing all the work, leading the songs, getting the camping permits, getting the medical forms, setting up all the training. It's the same people. And the dads stand around, and they talk to me for a while. And I said, well, gosh, all this talent you got, anybody ask you to do something? He said, well, not yet. I mean, how many of you have seen this form? It's called the Trail Tracks, Thriving and Striving Troops. I know, Josh, you've seen it.
Yep.
Anybody else?
Yeah, we've seen it. We've got it.
Have you evaluated your unit? What would you say your unit is? Is it thriving, surviving, or what do we got here? Surviving?
I think we're striving. I think where we're at.
You're at the striving level.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Same kind of thing for those of us here in Oxnard.
Okay. How'd your scores look?
That's where they came out. A few areas were a little weak, a couple areas pretty strong, and some in the middle. So.
Yeah. Well, in the old days, we used to have these commissioner worksheets. We'd go and visit a unit, and we'd be able to check off, yeah, they're doing this or doing that, too deep leadership or whatever. So, I would frequent this form at least twice a year, especially before charter renewal. I would say the 3 months before charter renewal, you ought to take a look at this and see where your unit is. We hope that all the units will be at this thriving level up here, so that you can teach other units how to organize and put their work together. The next time I do committee trial, I'll get into the nitty-gritty of the committee chairman and beyond. Were there any feedback questions that you might have? Can I get a commitment that everyone's going to have talent surveys filled out and trail badges signed off, and you're going to have copies at your unit, and you're going to recruit them?
We're definitely working that direction.
Have you seen this form here, the troop level positions?
Yeah.
We'll get into nitty gritty next time, but have you seen these different paragraphs? I like this one here. I was sharing that with Josh a few hours ago. Where is it? It's he is not, no, not that one. Let's see. You guys have open houses, right?
Yep, we just had ours.
Yes, us
Okay.
too.
Yeah, we just did a recruiting weekend over the weekend. Yes.
Who does the follow-up?
Our onboarding facilitator does all the follow-up.
You have one. All right. That's the I like this person because this is the schmoozemeister. This guy walks that would be that sales and marketing guy. He walks around, he makes sure the families all know what's going on, or she does, whatever, and make sure that they all understand. I like this position a lot. It's almost like a segue into the membership chair at the unit level. So we'll get in the nitty-gritty of some of these here. Any other questions or observations? I'll get the attachments to Josh.
Jerry, I appreciate the presentation.
Yeah, you know, I also have a prayer to share with you that I wrote. So when we close the meeting, I'd like to share it.
Well, let's go ahead and do that. Unless anybody has any follow-up questions they want for Jerry. Okay, John, any last words before we say goodnight?
Oh, but I want to say thanks, Jerry. That was good info. Thank you for sharing that. Good stuff.
All right.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, now you all know what masculine love is.
Okay, Jerry, why don't you go ahead and pray us out?
Yeah, this is a prayer, and I'll give it to Josh to make and all the attachments I have here that you can go into. I wanted a prayer that you could bless your work. You know, we're providers, right? As men, we're providers and protectors and vocational trainers, and so I wanted to have a prayer that could be used before you start your day to work. I mean, you say your morning prayers when you wake up, and there's two ways to wake up in the morning. It's either good God, it's morning, or good morning, God. And then you move on, you shave and have breakfast and run out the door and get into the traffic and you get to work. But I would like to recommend before you start your actual work, you're sitting at your office or you're at the factory or wherever you are, is to use this little prayer. And I found it very handy. It got me through a lot of testing jobs that I've been involved with. This is called a prayer before starting work. Heavenly Father, as I enter this workplace, I bring your presence with me. I speak your peace, your grace, your mercy, and your perfect order in this place of work. I acknowledge your power over all that will be spoken, thought, decided, and done within these walls. Lord, I thank you for the gifts you have blessed me with. I commit to using them responsibly in your honor. Give me a fresh supply of strength to do your honor. Anoint my projects and ideas and energy so that even my smallest accomplishment may bring you glory. Lord, when I am confused, guide me. And when I'm weary, energize me. And when I'm burned out, infuse me with the light of the Holy Spirit. And may the work that I do and the way I do it bring faith, joy, and smile to all that come in contact with me today. And oh Lord, when I leave this place, give me traveling mercy. Bless my family and home to be in order as I left it. Lord, I thank you for everything you've done, everything you're doing, and everything you're going to do. In your name, I pray with much love and thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen. Okay, thank you very much, Jerry. I appreciate the prayer, appreciate the training. It was awesome.
Thank you, Josh.
Yes, thank you, Jerry.
All right, guys.
God bless you guys. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Mike, I'll see you tonight, or I'll talk to you tomorrow night.
Sure thing. I've been having some really hard times trying to get hold of these guys, but I've got enough stuff out there that I'm praying that they finally get back to me tomorrow.
Okay.
To validate the stuff. Otherwise, it might be a short